If you realize that the worst words in finance this time is different, that this is a different model, and network models are very different than cash flow models. So at top level, the internet grew at an adoption rate of 63% a year from 1999 to 2000. That was the fastest adoption of any technology the world had ever seen. Crypto, in its broadest sense, is actually growing at an adoption rate of 113%, twice the speed of the internet. So this is of an order of magnitude none of us have ever seen before. And most of our narratives are somewhat behind what's actually happening because so many people are working on this. But what I think is going to happen to the financial industry, I think it's actually going to change all global business models. But to the financial industry, we know some of the big problems that have been outstanding. Things like rehypothecation. You know, what happens at things like DTC level, CC level, or Euroclear? You know, who owns what asset? The ability to tokenize these assets is a game changer. And the ability to trade 24 hours a day instantaneously and fractionalize it is also a game changer. So I can't see any reason on earth while all equities and all bonds are not going to go into the blockchain. We've also seen the rise of DeFi, and that's decentralized or somewhat centralized lending protocols and borrowing protocols that work algorithmically, seem to be pretty robust as far as we've tested, and that looks like that will scale as well. So what we're doing is we're creating a modern system of finance that's more accountable and suitable for the modern age, that doesn't have T+1, T+2 settlement, but instant settlement, that allows the instant transfer of assets. And once you blend in the central bank digital currencies, you've got rails of which all of this can operate globally. So if we think of the size of the asset class today, it's somewhere around $2 trillion. If we look at the global equity market, the global bond market, global real estate, which can also be tokenized, all of these things, they're between 100 and 200 trillion dollar assets. If we look at the adoption rate, it's kind of suggesting to us that this blockchain technology is going to end up as a 100, 200 trillion dollar asset. I think it actually encapsulates all of these other asset classes because it's a much more efficient way of transferring, owning, proof of ownership, all global assets. So I think it's really big. And it's hugely disruptive. We don't know actually what format the central banks are going to do this. My guess is they'll start with the non-disruptive version, as he suggested. I think they will move towards the disruptive version. We're already kind of getting noise of that out of the US, that maybe they want to do it in conjunction with the private sector. Maybe DeFi is an efficient way of doing it and fintech is an efficient way of doing it. Do we need money center banks? Okay, that's a big change to the world. Or money center banks have to reinvent themselves. That's fine. That's what technology does. It strives all of us to improve our business models or adapt. So, yeah, look, it's really exciting times for finance, and it's bigger than finance itself. Firstly, I think we need to be careful in what we compare. Right now, we're not comparing Bitcoin or crypto to anything. We're just saying it uses a lot of energy, right? Same as when we use kettles. My guess is global kettle usage is probably higher than Bitcoin. We just don't think of the world in those terms. How much does the banking sector use? We don't know, right? It uses electricity. In fact, it uses electricity and stores it. It basically mines electricity and turns it into bytes, and that's transferable. So that's where part of the value proposition of Bitcoin itself comes from. But transactions are not highly cost. They don't use a lot of electricity. It's only the mining that's expensive, and it's only for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is a particularly kind of pristine way of doing things that requires a huge amount of computational load. So that's expensive to do. So okay, so there's only Bitcoin with that, because Ethereum is moving to proof of stake, but it also has side chains and other things that are very efficient in terms of energy use. So most of the whole rail, so that's why the EIB used Ethereum for their, foray into digital bonds, because it's not very energy intensive compared to most things. So that's okay. So really that story goes around Bitcoin. But when we dig into the story of Bitcoin and its energy use, as I said, part of the value proposition is that. But if you look at the speed of which Bitcoin mining is moving to green energy is probably faster than any other industry in the world. Why is that? Because all the costs are in the electricity, and the cheapest marginal cost of electricity in the world is geothermal and hydropower.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
So we're seeing a lot of that, and then there's new technologies in gas flare-offs. We've seen huge wastage of energy, also load balancing for electricity networks. So we're finding a lot of ways of actually making either existing networks more efficient by Bitcoin mining, or by actually driving the technology to greener sources. So we're seeing this big rise in Canada and Texas. Canada because they've got gas flare-offs, or they've got geothermal or hydro, and it's cool so you can run servers. Texas, huge amounts of gas flare-offs, or when we go to Iceland and other countries in the north, even in Russia, we're seeing all sorts of different uses of electricity. So net, it's actually a disruptor to the energy world, and I think it's less intensive. And Ethereum, which is really the rails, the platform for most of the industry, where a lot of the financial sector will start to focus its efforts, that's much less intensive anyway. It's fascinating because we've just gone through this 50% sell-off, and normally in markets, 50% sell-offs create a different investor psychology. I've not seen it. I spend a lot of my time speaking to these world's largest hedge funds. I present to a lot of asset management firms, the entire firm, all of their portfolio managers. And I've done that around the world for various people, helping them understand, the benefits of holding some of this stuff in portfolios, for example. And I see nothing but ongoing adoption. I don't see anybody. I see people being slowed down by the ESG story, and I think you'll see over the next few weeks the Bitcoin miners getting together to create a better understanding of what's going on and how it works. So, regulation, people are waiting for more regulation because some people need clarity. A lot of the hedge funds don't, but the institutional asset managers do. I see nothing but people thinking that it diversifies their portfolios and has great portfolio effects for them. They don't need to allocate a lot of money, and they don't need to make the decision that we're all thinking about, is how big is this disruption? They just can make the small step. Most haven't made the small step yet. The hedge fund industry and the family office industry has. The asset management industry is only just starting. The first step will be Bitcoin, then probably Ethereum, and then it'll be an open conversation of, can we treat this like real-time mark-to-market VC? And can we bet on protocols, tokens, and ideas that may disrupt our whole industry? And so therefore we benefit from the disruption. And I think that's where it's all going to go.
What to do in such a situation? Inform yourself and keep your financial education strong. We from the Compact Group offer our loyal subscribers a free educational portal with first-hand monetary, financial, and economic knowledge. Enter our invite-only Insider Club by clicking the link below. You will get access to first-class information far earlier than the rest. We have prepared a special deal for all our members where you can access a giant pool of Robert Kiyosaki's financial wisdom for just $1. To find out more, simply click the link below and join our Insider Club absolutely free. But there is more you can and should do. Build up several streams of income. More and more people realize that they have to take their future in their own hands, but they don't know how and where to start. We from Compact offer our Insider Club members unique opportunities. Strengthen your financial muscle and get the edge. Click the link below. Become part of our free Insider Club. No financial obligations. But there's one important thing you have to know. You have to become active. So do it now. Become active and see you on the other side.